I don't understand what having a wife is for. Marriage is supposed to be a partnership, but what if it feels more like a one-man show? What if your own home starts to feel like a hotel, and your wife, a guest passing through? And how does a man go from dreaming of family warmth to quietly asking himself, why did I even get married? Welcome to Live Stoic, Live Strong, where we trade illusions for truth, where emotions are felt but not obeyed, where clarity is power and discipline is freedom. This is not just a channel, it's a mindset. It's a journey of conscious living. Let's begin. Miles, the man living in a house without himself. Miles once believed that marriage was the destination of true love. A little house, a kind wife, a baby wrapped in soft blankets, a quiet dream many honest men carry in their hearts. But what he didn't expect was to feel like a stranger in the very home he built with love. By day, Miles worked hard to provide. By night, he came home, fed the baby, cooked dinner, cleaned up, folded laundry. Then he'd glance at the empty chair at the dining table, where his wife should have been. But she was never there. She was out, at cafes with friends, playing badminton, singing karaoke until 2 or 3 in the morning. She lived like she was still single, even though she had a husband and child at home. And Miles? He was the man who did everything, but was treated as if he meant nothing. He paid almost the entire housemaid's salary. He covered every family expense, from formula to electricity, every bill, every meal. And yet, when he was exhausted, all he received was a cold glance and a phrase that cut deeper than silence. If a man can't provide for his wife and child, he's not a real man. No thank you. No recognition. Not even one night where she asked, "Are you okay?" Some nights, Miles sat in the dark, holding his baby close, rocking him to sleep. The only sounds, the distant noise of traffic, and the faint laughter of his wife on her phone. And in those moments, a quiet question echoed in his mind. Why do I even have a wife? That question didn't come from anger. It came from heartbreak, from a man who once believed in love, now drowning in duty and loneliness. Miles eventually realized the mistake wasn't marrying the wrong woman. It was never setting boundaries, never having the real conversations about roles, about effort, about partnership. He loved her, but he forgot to love himself. Marriage is not a stage where one performs and the other applauds. It is a path walked together. When only one keeps walking, no matter how strong he is, he'll eventually collapse. Miles didn't want a woman to decorate his life. He wanted a partner, someone who would stay, share, and build together. Because he knows now, a home built by one person will always be a house, not a home. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, no matter where you are in the world, for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence and support are the driving force that keeps me creating and sharing. No words can truly capture the depth of my appreciation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing, and thank you for walking this journey with me. There's an old saying passed down from our grandparents. A grown man gets married. A grown woman gets married. Simple, traditional, straightforward. But in today's world, that statement, once full of meaning, now leaves some men, including me, staring at the ceiling late at night, wondering, what's the point of having a wife? That question didn't come from bitterness or sarcasm. It came from deep exhaustion, from someone who's been living like a ghost in his own home. And maybe, just maybe, I've become that man too. Let me tell you my story. My wife and I have been married for 3 years now. We're the same age, both 31 this year. Our relationship moved fast. We got pregnant even before the wedding. Back then, it felt like everything was falling into place. Love, family, a shared future. But from the first days of our marriage, something didn't feel right. At just 2 months pregnant, my wife had already stopped doing any household tasks. She didn't cook, didn't clean, no laundry, no grocery shopping, no setting the table. She didn't lift a finger around the house. I took care of it all. Me, alone, while she went to work, came home, and either met up with friends or ordered food to eat. There were nights when I cleaned up after everyone, looking at the empty seat across from me, wondering when it stopped feeling like us. And the finances? I gave her nearly my entire salary. I kept just a small portion for the most basic family needs, but she spent the rest on herself. Clothes, shoes, cosmetics, little luxuries. Yet she rarely, if ever, contributed to our shared expenses. I told myself, it's okay, she's pregnant. Be patient. So I stayed quiet. I endured until I couldn't anymore and had to call my mother for help, because doing everything, working, cooking, cleaning, worrying, alone was just too much for me to handle. Then came the baby. I thought things would change, maybe even get better. But no. Indelicia. After giving birth, my wife couldn't breastfeed. She had no milk. We had to switch to formula from the start. I encouraged her to try, to pump, to ask for help, but she refused. Said it made her feel uncomfortable and embarrassed, and then she simply stopped trying. Financially, she earned a decent income, around 10 to 12 million a month, but nearly all of it goes to herself. New clothes, cafe trips, dinners out, random travels. Even the money I gave her, spent just as easily. Sometimes, her grandparents would give her extra, and she'd quietly keep it for her own use. What's her daily routine like? She works during the day. Evenings are her personal time, out with friends, playing badminton, meeting partners, colleagues, often coming home around 9, maybe 9:30. Then it's TikTok scrolling, a hot shower, and bed. We live together, but barely speak. No real time together. No shared meals. No eye contact. No connection. It's like we're two people living two separate lives, under one roof. Sometimes, it's not the loud arguments that break a marriage. It's the quiet weight one person carries alone. That's where we left off. Me, silently shouldering it all, while my wife continued living as if she were still single. On weekends, instead of family time or helping around the house, my wife would pack her bags and head off, either on company trips or weekend getaways with friends. Meanwhile, I stayed home. Just me and the baby. At first, my mother tried to help, but even she couldn't bear it anymore. One day, she looked me in the eyes and said firmly, "That's it, I can't do this anymore. I'm going home. Don't expect me to support this any longer." I didn't argue. I didn't try to explain. I simply nodded, because deep down, I understood her. I was exhausted too. Eventually, we decided to hire a maid. Her salary was $8 million per month. Of that, I paid $6 million. My wife, she contributed just $2 million, and even that wasn't from her earnings. It came from money her grandparents gave her. But what broke me wasn't just the money. It was her mindset. She truly believed it was the husband's duty to handle everything, all the finances, all the responsibilities, for both wife and children. And if he couldn't, then he wasn't a real man in her eyes. Can you imagine what that feels like? To be judged not by your love or effort, but by your bank account? The weight of that pressure began to suffocate me. I was overwhelmed, constantly anxious, and deeply sad. I felt like I was the only one fighting to keep this marriage alive, the only one sacrificing. Meanwhile, my wife continued living freely, just like a single girl with no obligations. I had to manage the money, take care of our child, handle everything in the home, and somehow still hold on to the hope that things might change. There were nights I sat alone in the dim nursery, rocking my child to sleep. And my wife? Out with friends, singing karaoke, drinking, sometimes until 2 or 3 in the morning. I remember whispering to myself in the dark, "So, why do I have a wife?" That question haunted me. And do you know what I eventually realized? The biggest mistake was having expectations about marriage without real conversations beforehand. We often believe that once we get married, everything will magically fall into place. But no, marriage doesn't fix problems. It magnifies them. The truth is, marriage requires clarity. It requires conversations, honest talks about responsibilities, roles, and expectations. It demands shared effort, not silent suffering. If only one person keeps giving while the other keeps taking, it will never last. That imbalance breeds resentment, and eventually, it turns love into a burden. Even money, yes, even money, needs transparency. If one person only spends while the other constantly sacrifices, conflict is inevitable. Every family needs a clear financial plan to avoid hurt and misunderstandings. And let's talk about children. Some people believe having kids will magically bring a couple closer. But the truth? If someone is irresponsible by nature, having children won't change them. Responsibility doesn't come with a baby. It comes from character. Because happiness is not found in the idea of having a family. It lies in how that family lives together. Just because 2 people are husband and wife doesn't mean they're happy. What truly matters is whether that relationship brings peace, support, and companionship. If a marriage only makes one person more tired, more lonely, more broken, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to ask, is this still worth it? Dear friends, this story may sound painful, but it's far from rare. It's a mirror held up to the modern world. A quiet wake-up call for anyone entering marriage without truly understanding the weight of responsibility, sacrifice, and mutual respect. Because marriage is only meaningful when both people walk the same road, for the same reasons. If only one walks while the other rides along, then no matter how strong, that one person will eventually collapse. Marriage is not a destination. It's a daily decision to show up, to care, to carry together. Because when only one person sacrifices, love becomes labor. And when respect fades, no title, husband or wife can save the silence. So ask yourself quietly but honestly, is this love or just survival? Don't stay where you're dying just to keep something called a marriage alive. Live with truth. Live with courage. Live strong. Thank you for your time. If an idea in this video touched you, let it settle in your heart. Each time you return, you might hear something new. Perhaps it will reach even deeper. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. See you in the next video, where we'll take another step together on this journey of inner discovery.